Good, welcome back to the channel. Back with another video for you guys. Different video today, basically explaining the differences between a shade tree mechanic, a mechanic, or a technician, okay? So a lot of people get the terms confused. A lot of people say shade tree basically because the person might do shady work, so that's not always the term case, okay? Mechanic, okay, a lot of people get that messed up and different because mechanic works on pretty much everything to do with engines and electricity and mechanical things. And you also have auto technicians, so the same thing applies as a shade tree mechanic or auto technician. And I have a guest today to help us clarify that as well. Alexa, what is the term shade tree mechanic used for?
The term shade tree mechanic is commonly used to refer to amateur mechanics who repair their personal vehicles in their backyards or elsewhere away from a proper garage. The name shade tree mechanic comes from the practice of working on vehicles under the shade of a tree, which was believed to provide some degree of cooling and comfort during hot summer days. However, the term has since taken on a more general meaning to refer to any amateur mechanic who performs vehicle repairs without a formal training or certification.
All right, so that's one of the things right there that she just mentioned as far as a shade tree mechanic. Now, the term, like she said, came from somebody working under a tree just to be, cool in the area that they're working in. So, doesn't mean that you're not an auto technician, doesn't mean that you're not a mechanic. Alexa, what does the word or term mechanic mean?
Mechanic is usually defined as a person who repairs and maintains machinery, motors, etc. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for mechanic.
All right, so whether it's a motor, an engine, a mechanic term, meaning that you work on all kind of things that have to do with turning parts, gears, transmission systems, a lot of different things, but a lot of people don't do everything as far as auto mechanic work. Me, myself, I don't change transmissions and I don't change engines, but I can pretty much fix everything on a vehicle, depending on the year, make, and model of the vehicle, because some vehicles are a lot more difficult than other vehicles, especially when you're trying to repair them. All right, so one more term, let's pull that up as well. Alexa, what does an auto technician do?
Here's something I found on the internet. Automotive service technicians inspect, maintain, and repair automobiles and light trucks that run on gasoline, electricity, or alternative fuels, such as ethanol.
All right, so let's clarify that as well. She already done so, but they work on everything. The difference is that people might mistake between the three. Okay, you might wear a formal shirt and you work in a shop. Okay, doesn't mean that you're not capable, because a lot of people work in shops and they decide to quit and decide to become their own technician and work at their own pace and their own time, especially if you have a lot of tools and you have a lot of experience, and let's just say the last job or three didn't work out for you on how you would like to be paid or whatever. So the term shade tree mechanic, okay, some people mistake that for doing shady work. Some people cut corners, whether you're a technician that works in the shop, a shade tree mechanic can also work in the shop, and a mechanic can also work in the shop, but all of them apply to the same definition of working on a mechanical engineered device with moving parts. Okay, so that being said, people tend to lean towards auto shops, okay? An auto shop will give you the same possible work, good or bad, depending on who's working on your vehicle, okay? So some people cut corners just like any job. You may not like your job, or somebody may made you mad that day, as far as your boss, or even being in a stuck or a frustrating situation while you're operating on the car. And I say operating because it's a surgery, okay? Every car has different pieces, just like the human body does. You have your heart, you have your lungs, you have your organs. So your engine contains all your organs. You have your limbs, your doors, you have your eyes, your lights, your tail lights, okay? All these different things, just like the human body. Your electrical system, you have electrical charge in your brain, and there's an electrical charge in a vehicle, and it's usually controlled by the ECU or the TCU. ECU, electronic control module, TCU, transmission control module. So these two different computers are balancing the electrical system in the car, just like we have a balance of our electrical system in our body. So I kind of look at it like a human body. Anything that operates and takes gasoline or anything that uses electricity usually has something that is cooling it, something that is operating it, and something that is also pushing the issue far as making the vehicle or the mechanical situation far as machinery work. Okay, so all this is just off the top of my head, just coming up with a video for you guys. If you are a shade tree mechanic, like Alexis said, you may only work on your own vehicles or a buddy's vehicle or something like that, but doesn't mean that you're not a mechanic, doesn't mean that you're not an auto technician. Now, you may have went to school and you decided to pursue your career on your own, okay? Through time, I have built my own shop out of my garage, and I take on different clients and different jobs to my ability, okay? So when the shade tree mechanic term or auto technician doesn't mean that you're not capable of doing the job. So don't feel like you're not a mechanic because you don't have a certification. Okay, the certification is just a certification. It doesn't mean that you can do the work. You have to pass certain tests to actually become an auto technician, but you could be more book savvy than a hands-on technician as far as explaining and doing so with certain things. So once the hands start to become involved with the work, that is going to determine your skill level on your mechanical ability, and that's in any type of job. So some things are more difficult than the others, and some people do jobs a lot easier than others. As far as brakes, some people like to do alternators, starters, and some people like to do suspension work. And you can also do them all, or you can separate them and do what's best for you to make your money or be able to repair certain things. Now, it can be a technician, shade tree mechanic, whatever you want to call them, mechanic. Now, depending on the work that you do will also display you, because you worked on it. That's going to tell everybody what type of mechanic you are, and you don't want to have a bad reputation or do shady work, Jimmy rig, as they say, just to make sure the job gets done or lasts for a specific amount of time. When I do repairs, I warranty my work. If there's something I've done or broken, I take the cost. Okay, if it's something that I'm working on and I see that somebody could possibly blame something on me that may have already been prior, then that's where the inspection come in. All right, so every mechanic should do a visual and an inspection of the vehicle, especially if it has a check engine light. You definitely want to inspect the vehicle before you decide to work on it. Some people say, oh, I need an alternator. Oh, I just need brakes. Okay, brakes. Let's explain that. Your pads are just one of them. A lot of people get, I need some brakes, confused with just needing some brake pads. No, you might have some other issues. You might need a new caliper. You might have a stuck piston. Your rotors could be bad to where your pads aren't going to work correctly if you install new pads on some bad rotors. You can also have a pinched brake line or a busted brake line. And usually if you have a busted brake line, you have a brake light on your dash. Why does the brake light come on? Because there's an indicator inside of the reservoir that tells you your brake fluid is low, which should never get low. Same thing with your antifreeze and other things, power steering. It sets and it stays at a certain regulation. You should never have a leak in anything, but as far as that, there we go. So shade tree mechanic, auto technician, they're all the same, okay? Depending on your work level and where you work at. So don't, oh, that's a shade tree mechanic because he's not in the shop. No, you can be an extreme professional, but you don't work in a shop anymore as far as under somebody else's rules and regulations, which you should always apply all the regulation specifications when it comes to being safe when you're working on cars. So some people might not use jack stands and just use the jack. Well, definitely don't want to do that, okay? unsafe. Jacks fail. Sometimes the pistons fail and you might be under the vehicle working on it. And all of a sudden the jack starts to sink. It's happened to me many times. I've had to replace and upgrade a lot of jacks because of that issue. Not saying that it's not a good jack, but depending on who built it, there we go again, the technician or mechanic that built the moving mechanisms in the jack. We're all human. Sometimes we make mistakes. So the main thing is to not make the mistake. So triple check your work. Even if you're doing the smallest thing like changing the oil, okay? Let's just say you got distracted, you went and done something else. Now it's time to fill the oil back up, or you may have forgot that you did put oil in it or did not put oil in it. So the thing is, before you blow up an engine, drain it or check to see if there is oil in it. And if you haven't, and you start the car, a friend of mine had a Jiffy Lube incident where their engine was blown because I guess somebody was distracted and forgot to put oil in the vehicle. So I'd rather waste $30, $40, you know what I mean, just to make sure I do the job correctly versus costing somebody or me having to pay $3,000 and up for a replacement engine. So just wanted to clarify that as far as the differences between a shade tree mechanic, a mechanic, and an auto technician. So some have a blue collar and a specific uniform. Some guy might be in a white t-shirt that he has to get dirty or doesn't care to get dirty. You might even have a specific type of clothes that you wear. Me, myself, like to wear black. Every now and then you might see me with a t-shirt or something, but black, it covers, you know, you're gonna get stains, okay? So black pants, black t-shirt. I usually wear a lot of black. I used to wear blue jeans, but they get soiled, okay, through time, and then they're also gonna turn black. The tan pants, you know, carpenter pants, good to go. Black or navy blue, but all those show stains and all that kind of stuff. You're gonna get dirty, so you don't have to look your best, but I like to try to stay as clean as possible or look as clean and presentable as possible, okay? So just wanted to say that as well. A lot of shops either use navy blue clothes, anything that's gonna kind of hide the dirt and stuff, but you're gonna get dirty no matter what if you're doing this work. So shade tree mechanic, you're not. You're a technician and you're a mechanic as well because you're capable of doing the job. Now don't cut corners. I don't care if you're a licensed technician, you already may or may have not had a degree, but your mind is already mechanically inclined. Can't nobody take that away from you because your mind operates on a different level. You can just see something and be able to fix it versus the technician at the shop took him 3 hours and it only took you 20 minutes. And you're a so-called shade tree mechanic, but you're not. You're a auto technician. So just wanted to clarify that and say that because the term technician, shade tree mechanic, it can be twisted and turned around, and it all pretty much falls down to a person that is capable to fix something that has moving mechanical parts, okay? So those that think that they're a shade tree mechanic, don't do shady work. Just be a mechanic, just be a technician. And that is required for you to be a professional in what you do. So just wanted to add this. Hopefully it helps you out on the differences. And yeah, thanks for watching. If you made it through this video, please hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. Feel free to go through my channel to see my work that I do, okay? And I get a lot of positive feedback from around the globe. So for those who watch my channel and have subscribed, I really love and appreciate it, and appreciate all the feedback, even the negative feedback. It always helps you learn or do something different. And you may not even made a mistake, but somebody might point the smallest thing out in your video. So hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. Always know rest is the enemy on these things. Causes us to work too hard, extra hard, or super hard because of rust. Yeah, crud, all that crap. So yeah, see you on the next video. Love life, live it, and I'm out.